It's 5 o'clock somewhere, which means it's time to take out the trash.
Welcome to your Trash Pals podcast, coming to you live from Grouchland. Trying to mix up our openings.
Ooh.
But this is a podcast all about pop culture, garbage, and nastiness. I'm Van Notes.
And I'm Wren.
So, Wren, we have to give a little bit of an apology to our listeners. Our special Spawnuary episode, all about Spawn. Just a whole glorious hour of Spawntent was lost to Al Gore's internet.
Al Gore's internet. That's so funny. And it was truly, I was so sad. I watched Spawn for basically no reason. I went through that traumatic experience of watching Spawn just for the love of the game.
just for me and your love of me. But I want to reassure the listeners, we are planning, Wren doesn't know this yet, but we are planning to do a special live Spawn viewing with our listeners, maybe trying to figure out some way we'll both be simultaneously watching Spawn together for everyone's enjoyment. So,
oh no.
We'll see. We'll see how we can finagle this. But I'm working my devious ways.
Oh, goodness gracious.
I did order the Spawn Blu-ray just so I could watch it in high Blu-ray viewing.
Like, why? It's just so gross. It's so squelchy. It's just, there's too much slime and schlock. Too many S sounds. It's gross. It's yucky.
Well, enough Spawntent. We have someone who is even higher quality trash than the Spawn film. We have a very special guest coming into with us today. So we have a very special guest, a wonderful local drag performer who is a purveyor of trash. So I'm going to read a little bio here. Cookie Puss is a drag performer commonly known as the stupidest fucking bitch in Idaho and voted the 6th funniest bottom of 2023. That's from her Instagram. When she's not trolling grinders, scruffs, sniffies, and farmers only for her next client, she performs throughout the Northwest and the Mountain West. Her own show, Cookie Party, is widely considered by many in the Treasure Valley as one of the most fun of all the local shows. She's also the frequent lay of my least favorite Alexis Mateo impersonator in all of Idaho, Coco Frio, who I encourage to come fight me on the podcast. It's Cookie Puss!
Oh, wow. What an introduction. Oh, my goodness. Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. I feel right at home.
You are the
right with the trash.
First non-cartoonist to ever be on the podcast.
Is that true? Wow, I feel so honored.
You have none of the neck pain, hand cramping that our listeners have come to expect. So
I have hand cramps, but for a different reason, darling.
So we'll ask you what we normally ask ourselves every week. What trash are you consuming, Cookie Puss? What are you currently purveying besides our special topic?
Well, I'll be honest. I consume a lot of trash in many different capacities, but currently, it might sound cliche, but I am obsessed with Drag Race. Maybe that's a bit obvious. So currently season 16 is going, and I am living for the drama. I just can't help it. So that's what I'm consuming. And also just any reality TV show, to be honest. I've been binging The Kardashians on Hulu. Love it. I'm very vain. I love Kim Kardashian. That is like probably the trashiest thing about me.
Who are your front runners for this season? I haven't gotten to tune in because I lost my access to.
Oh no.
Drag Race continuously gets harder and harder to watch for some reason.
It's true.
It's money. The money, because they keep getting more money, so that's why. Currently, I really enjoy. There's a contestant called Nymphia Wind. She is from Taiwan, and she's an amazing queen. Like, just insane this year. And everybody loves to hate this queen called Plain Jane. So, I'm currently hating her with passion. And
is there what's the reasoning? Why are they?
Oh, why do I hate Plain Jane?
Yeah,
Plain Jane is. She represents those queens that are like just there to stir shit up. That literally like walk in the room, want to point to the person they like the least, and just tell them why. So she's very dramatic, and that's exactly why everyone hates her. She's very rude, very mean. My dog is freaking out. Oh my gosh! Just 1 second. Is that okay?
Oh, no problem.
Yeah,
I'm gonna let them out really fast.
So funny. Last week or 2 weeks ago, it was my dog snoring. Now it's their dog.
Sorry. I knew she was gonna get louder, so I was like, I gotta get her out of here. Okay.
Oh no worries.
Yeah. Wren's dog, the last podcast, actually made a snore so loud that I thought it was a motorcycle just going by in the background.
My tiny, like 11-pound Shipu, he snores so loud. I don't know where he has it in him, but he is like the loudest snorer on the planet.
Oh my god, that's actually very precious, though. That's like a sweet thing.
Yeah, he's a sweet dog.
What about you, Wren? What trash are you consuming?
Well, I have made the horrendous decision to re-download TikTok, and I'm loose. I am loose on TikTok, from like slime videos to like how to dress in your 30s videos to just dance videos. I'm on TikTok for this grand millennial design. I don't even know what that is, but I love it. I love every second of it.
What?
I'm a TikToker now. This is who I am.
What is grand millennial design? Is that like the Kabbalah or like some Oprah? Like,
no. It's like gosh. It's like if you want to be a trad wife, but you're a leftist.
oh,
You know what I'm talking about? Like that kind of like homesteading, like blue and white Dutch painting, ceramics, kind of rocking chair, wicker basket, fresh tulips in a milk jug kind of situation.
Like homemade jam.
Yes.
Biscuits every day. Yeah.
Biscuits every day. Cookie Puss gets it.
biscuits every day. Okay.
Homemade, of course. And you like ground your own flour and all that stuff.
The roux. Yeah, you make like your own roux and like your own flour, and oh my god.
Exactly.
Yeah. I feel this.
I love it.
The TikTok.
It's resonating in me. I don't have like a I know that I'm like, I won't even make sourdough. I don't have the patience. But in my fantasies, I'm making jam. Like, have you ever seen Scandal?
Yes, I love that show.
Yes. So there's this scene where the main character is like fantasizing her life with the president, and they're in like a log cabin, and she just made jam, and that is where I'm at mentally. So that's my trash.
I get it.
That is not my idea of what Scandal is. Is that like a
It's
lot
just
of Scandal?
Scene from Scandal. Scandal is not all that, but that's just like one scene from Scandal that has like stayed in my heart all these years.
That is not matching my mental image of Scandal one bit.
So funny. Well, you have to watch it. It has to be your new thing after
it's a good show.
Grace. It's good. It's literally, it is riveting. It's riveting.
I agree.
I am on the last season of the original Will and Grace, so that that could be a potential jumping off point. I do like the more lighthearted sitcoms in the background though. So maybe I can do a Scandal. 40 minutes is also I have to time my like bathroom breaks while I'm watching TV and
So
drawing.
funny.
So I have to like, that would mean I would have to only do one episode every bathroom break or stand-up break rather than 2 episodes. So my rhythms would be.
I'll tell you what, if you watch
wild.
Scandal, I will watch it with you. We will do a tandem Scandal watch because it's been years and I never finished it.
Oh, that's better than
enticing.
People always trying to get me to watch Glee again.
So funny.
Which is a
I've never seen Glee.
You don't need to go into that pit. Like it's not. Do you have a strong memory of Glee, Cookie Puss?
No, I saw the Lady Gaga episode because I am a huge Lady Gaga fan. And I saw the Britney one, and I think that was it. That's like all my experience with Glee wrapped up is those 2 episodes. I'm not a big musical person. I don't know. It just doesn't hit me in the right way. I know that's probably like not the right thing to say as a drag queen, but
it's time to get controversial. It's time to really put the gays in their place and say they need to stop.
Yeah, no more musicals, please, for Christ's sake.
No more Wicked. No more.
I would watch Wicked. I've never seen it, but I would watch it.
So funny.
I love Wicked.
Retraction already. There's already a retraction on our statement.
Wicked is the only one that can live. All the other ones straight to the gulag.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be the first time.
So, Cookie Puss, we've brought you in to weigh in on some very serious topics, some very, very important local goings on. Wren, you can join in, of course. You will also probably have some opinions, but really, the scene has some conversations they need your opinion on.
I'm sure they do.
So we like to play little games on here, little saw games. I'm always trying to capture everybody in my little traps, and so we have a game. It's basically fuck, marry, kill, but of reduce, reuse, recycle, going along with our trash theme. So reduce is like we're good with it, but we don't need too much more. Reuse is like, yes, again and again and again. Let's do it. And recycle means it's time to let it go. Let live and let God. Or yes. So it's very innovative, a very unique game that we specifically concocted. So
very modern.
So our first topic is reduce, reuse, recycle, drag brunches at random venues.
Oh, you know what? I don't know. I would have to say reuse because I love brunch. I love doing brunch in drag. So I'm like, I'll do it in a parking lot. So I would love just more. That might not be the same way you feel, but I love more. Brunch everywhere, baby.
I have to say the same. I'm a big mimosa fan. I'm a big orange juice enjoyer. Anything with orange juice, a peach Bellini every once in a while, I'll try it. But yeah, more brunches, more drag. I'm a big fan.
Okay. I will say I also will reuse drag brunches at random venues. These are not all traps, but
I'm scared. I'm so used to them being traps.
Yeah.
I think, any ways we could get more drag out and about in the world, more brunch, and hopefully everybody's getting paid. That's the most important thing. So
exactly. Yeah, get the money up front. That's what Mama always says.
Second one, Divas going live to 3 people.
Oh, you can just call me out by name. I'm right here. No, I'm just kidding. I would say we can reduce that. We can certainly reduce that. Everyone goes live. I don't really go live often because I don't typically have much to say. But I have a few times, and you're right. It's like 3 to 4 people, and I'm like, who am I doing this for? Myself?
I don't know. I might say reuse because you have these 3 dedicated fans that you can just chit chat with, get their in on their life gossip, see what's going on with them. I'm nosy. I'm very nosy. So I'm like, ooh, tell me about the drama at your local Target. Like, come on.
I can relate to that.
I'll say reduce as well. I like it every once in a while, but there's a few people who love to go live, and you're like, what are we doing here? Was this? I always feel like some of them, it's like, did you mean to go live, or was this a mistake?
Yeah. Sometimes I don't mean to, and then I'm like, okay, so now what? And I'll just hang out for a second.
There was a local queen who went live and was walking around downtown, and I wasn't really invested in it for the drama. I was just trying to figure out where they were walking, in my mental map, and I was like, oh, there they are in front of the Flying M now. There they are by the Capitol building. I was just mapping.
It's like a fun little scavenger hunt.
Yeah. Let's see. Next item of reduce, reuse, recycle. The buildup of someone putting out a tarp.
Oh, during a show? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, on stage, yes.
Yeah. I host a lot of shows, and so there'll be moments when you have to kind of just riff and kind of kill time because someone's setting a tarp up. I wish there was a more, I don't know, theatrical way to do that because it seems kind of weird and obvious, So I would say, I guess, reduce that. So we didn't need tarps, but unfortunately we do. The bar will not allow us to just pour fake blood all over the stage. So.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh, a tarp, they're camping. I was so confused.
Yeah.
I really was like, oh, okay, that's a weird question, man, but go off.
Yeah, we just go camping. Yeah, we have fun on stage.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, I don't know. I live on the East Coast. I'm in New Jersey, but I don't take advantage of my proximity to New York nearly enough. So I'm like, a tarp. I don't know anything about a tarp.
Maybe it's not the same in New York. In Idaho, we're all just kind of I don't know, country, I guess is a good word.
I love it. Hey, you're keeping it clean. I'm a big fan.
Yeah. We do have some fairly courteous queens. They do, and sometimes I've seen a tarp put out, and I was like, what was messy about that one?
Right? It was not necessary, but they just want to make sure. Yeah, they're very polite.
It's like they spritzed a little whipped cream, and it's like, oh, you could have got a little bit harder if you put out the blue tarp. So,
and then there are the queens that don't put out a tarp and upset the bar, and then the rules change because they're messy queens and they just get shit all over the stage. So that's one way of doing it.
I think
not me.
I think Brooklyn drag queens are a little more infamous for their tarp antics. If you
is that true?
Wren. From what I've heard,
I'm a little Manhattan girly. I haven't really spent enough time in Brooklyn.
You have to get a little nasty for the tarp to come out. So, plastic on the couches, towel on the bed, tarp on the stage. So,
oh, honey.
Oh my goodness.
Let's see. Next one here that I have. Queens following you on their drag account after talking to you on Grindr.
Oh,
spicy.
That's interesting. I will say my experience with Grindr, there have been a few people that have messaged me and been like, are you that drag queen? And just for me, that instantly kind of ends the conversation. I'm just like, yeah, but like I would prefer not to discuss that here. I don't know. Like maybe it's a weird thing I have, but like yeah, not I don't know. It doesn't seem like the right venue for that. But no one's ever really followed me from it. Maybe I'm missing out on followers.
Oh.
Maybe I
Not
need
the,
to like connect my drag persona.
I've
Fun.
seen people promote like on the apps. Like I have a show
I
this
should.
weekend.
It's smart.
That's
Everyone's
so
on
funny.
it.
I don't have any personal grinder experience. All of it is vicarious through Van, but I love this concept that like you're like just so like, oh, I'm gonna get these followers. I'm gonna get them to go to my show. That's so funny.
It's all networking. It's all opportunity,
Yeah.
man, out here.
It is really like sometimes there's, you know, sometimes I'll say I'm on the apps every once in a while, but like when you're in like a small town location, it's just kind of to keep tabs on some people every once in a while. Like it's not like,
and it is kind of creepy. You can get like the general location of anyone who's on the app, and so you can kind of see if someone's like within a few hundred feet of you. I don't know. That always feels a little weird to me.
That's
A
so
little
spooky.
invasive.
yeah,
But convenient, I guess. Yeah, it's also
Yeah.
useful, I suppose.
Wren, have you had someone like follow you on social media after like talking on a dating app or something?
Yes.
Yes,
It's problematic. I have like I'm like, oh, do I want to talk about this? But there's this person I went out with, and it was like, you know, I really liked her. It was really going well, and then she dumped me. But she still follows me on my like our Instagram. And I'm like, you go away, leave me alone. Like, don't look at me.
does she still like?
Yeah, she engages with my content. I'm like, honestly, half of me is like cool with it. The other half of me is like, you know too much about me. Like, don't get away from this.
I was gonna say I'm like so narcissistic that I'm like I would just like to keep the follower, and you can still like my stuff. It's fine. I just like the engagement. Oh, that says something bad about me, I suppose.
The SEO is improving, the algorithms favoring me.
Right. Yeah,
Yes,
it's
yeah,
all
that's what you have to
engagement.
do.
Let's see. Next one I have here. Oh wait, have we did we say we didn't really reduce, reuse, recycle that one?
Oh,
I forgot the rules. Sorry. I'm bad at this.
I forgot the rules. I failed at my own game. I will say reuse. I like it when people like my art, even if they don't like me all the time. So I'll take it.
Agreed. That's what I would say.
I love it.
Reuse.
Let's see. Next one. And this could just be in gay bars, gay spaces in general for you. But straight people at the balcony. Reduce, reuse, recycle.
Oh my gosh. Wait, okay. You need to remind me. I'm sorry. What does recycle mean?
Recycle is
get rid of it?
Yeah, kill. Like, yeah, we're throwing it, we're letting it go.
I don't want to say recycle. I feel like that I have to like explain myself a little bit. I might say reduce for the balcony specifically. And it's not because I don't love straight people. I love straight people. I think they're amazing. My parents are straight, so that's great, you know, right? Like that's wonderful. But I also right, yeah, look at me. I also think that there is value in having queer spaces that are like, you know, filled by queer people. So I think there's a balance. I think that if we could just reduce it a little bit, that'd be great. But I wouldn't want it to go away because so many of the people that come out to our shows and are really supportive and really like love us and support us and are you know allies with us are straight people, straight women, honestly, in a lot of cases. And so I have met people that I really enjoy and love that I would never probably ever interact with otherwise. And so I love them to an extent. But yeah, there are moments when you're having a show and people that are there and they have no idea what's going on and they're like, they don't give a shit about it or whatever, you know, and you're kind of like, okay, you have to like kind of teach people how to be audience members in your spaces. But, you know, I think more people getting education about it or seeing it firsthand is probably a good thing. So I would say actually, I would have to change my answer and say reuse more. Just come on, why not? We need more straight people safe spaces.
Yeah, I definitely think reuse too. I know a lot of, especially straight women, they like to go to queer spaces because they feel safer than going out
Yeah.
to like a straight bar. And I totally get that as like a someone who like goes in between dating men and dating women. Like, yeah, I definitely feel uncomfortable in at like a club that isn't queer. I'm like, it's icky. The rules are weird. I don't like it. Um, but I think also like as you are a visitor in queer spaces, you need to respect those rules.
Agreed. I agree.
I've because we're in like such small spaces, such small like ecosystems out here in like rural country life. And even just like Boise being a small city, my favorite thing has been like over the years, like watching, I think there was, and I couldn't tell you who specifically. There was one like straight couple who I watched like slowly over the years like break off, and then I saw them with like other, like they went gay and they started at the balcony and
Oh,
they were one of the straight couples. So
well,
Wow.
that's fabulous. Yeah, good
that's
Yeah,
for
the
that's
them.
beautiful.
reason.
And good for
And
them.
see, maybe the people that we think are straight are not straight. Maybe they need to see it to,
Mhm.
you know, like get on that path. So the more the merrier.
I've also seen some like, yeah, when you have like a small town gay bar, you see like some of the most interesting reaction or interactions and like people watching. One of my favorite ones was like someone who was like obviously a person who someone met like on Grinder or on an app or something, who was like an experienced gay, and they brought like a baby gay with them to like the club, and that was one of the most like cute interactions to watch ever. So
Wholesome.
Being a drag performer, I feel like I get to look. I'm watching the audience pretty much the whole time, and so I feel like I get to know people that way. And I've seen so many odd couples and, you know, like interesting combinations of people and interesting interactions with people, between people. I think that's what keeps it interesting for me. Bar culture in general is just like the people watching of it all. It's really fun. So I see that.
let's see. So everyone reusing with moderation, I guess.
Yes.
Yes.
It's one thing to, come because you want to feel safe and enjoy the show. It's another thing to be like a rowdy bachelorette party who fetishizes gay people and is here to be annoying.
Agreed.
Yeah, but get rowdier, I guess, if you're tipping more. And
Yeah, it all depends. Do you have money?
yeah.
Because if you have money, then that changes the story.
Oh, the capitalism. Let's see. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Drag kings being better performers than the queens 90% of the time.
Ooh.
I say reuse because that's true. Like that definitely is the case, and I think the kind of unfair thing that happens, and it's really an interesting dynamic that drag queens get this reputation for, I guess. I mean, I don't prescribe to or ascribe to this, but like they say that drag queens are harder workers or that it's a different kind of art or whatever the case. And all of my experience shows me that drag kings, they have to work against that narrative to begin with, that idea that they're somehow less valid, which is not true. So they're automatically like putting in more work and more effort into like proving that narrative wrong. But also they have such a unique perspective on performance and on art and, you know, what they bring to it that I could never do as a drag queen, or the kind of art I produce is there's just such unique differences, and so I think it's time for more drag kings to have get credit for how much fucking work it is, because it's incredible. So reuse more, more, more.
I love it. I agree. Hell yeah.
That was a leading question. I'll admit to it. So some of these are leading questions. But yeah, there's definitely there's so many like local kings who like come out and like perform their hearts out, and then you have a queen who has been on Instagram and watched some RuPaul's Drag Race, and that doesn't always equal a performer.
Again, I'm right here.
Very pretty. Very pretty.
I agree.
You were fun from like the very first time I saw you perform. So I think fun goes a long way in a performance.
I would say so. Yeah. For the first year and a half, all I was fun. And now there's other parts maybe too. So that's good.
Yeah. Let's see. This is a little bit of a local flavor, Wren. So Serafina Thunder Pussy monopolizing drag children.
Well, I am one of them, so yeah. She has like, I don't even know. I lost count. I think 13, 14, some insane number. Yeah, she collects us like trophies. She loves it. It's her work. I don't mean that to be a negative thing. I know if she listens to this, she probably would be like, "What?" But I love her. She's great, and she mentors a lot of people. But yeah, it's like, oh my god, lady, how many more, hun? I would never tell her that though.
I'll say reduce. We need less octomoms. We need.
I forget. Sorry, I would say reduce. Reduce. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, she needs to let that pussy rest. So she needs to stop popping about.
Funny.
No more.
Mamma mia.
Ren's like, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, go off, have as many kids as you want.
Like, what?
Just keep working it, keep pumping out the kids.
Why not?
And the last one here, my last controversial local Boise drag reduce, reuse, recycle. Coco Frio requesting the Cupid Shuffle.
Oh yeah, I don't have any answer to that. I would say my answer is reuse. I let her do what she needs to do, honey. I have to go to bed with her at night, so just keep her happy. Just keep her happy.
That's so funny. I don't have any.
I don't enjoy the Cupid Shuffle though.
That's so funny. I love the Cupid Shuffle. I'm a little Cupid Shuffler. I don't know how to dance. I'm not rhythmic.
I don't know.
Wren's hopefully coming out hopefully in September. So we will get Wren out Cupid shuffling all over the dance floor with Coco.
Yeah.
But I will say reuse because I haven't been out and about much, and I would love to see Coco Cupid shuffling, even though I don't want to see Coco. So
I'll let her know. She'll keep it on just on request for you.
Just on rotation. So
yeah, just in case.
Well, thank you for playing my little game, my little jigsaw game. There's no gauntlet to face. You both passed. You come out the other end. I don't think you've been canceled at this point.
Oh God.
So we now get to the most important portion. You have brought forth a topic for us today, Miss Cookie Puss. What have you brought for us? What have you brought on a little garbage can lid for us to consume?
Well, I feel like when I was thinking about the overall theme of the show, which is trash pals, garbage content, What really speaks to me, and I think that this still is relevant today. When I was younger, I lived with my parents, obviously, and they couldn't afford like satellite television. So we would, this is, I don't know if this is like okay to say, but they would like get these little chips for like the direct TV that you could like somehow get it for free. I don't know how my dad did it, some sort of scam situation. So it would only work for like a month at a time or something. And so we would have like a month to watch all the like cable satellite TV we wanted. So I just binge watched MTV in like the year 2000, like 2000 to 2004 was like my golden era. And reflecting on that television and like the what was being made during that period, it's really insane. And recently I did a lecture, like a drunk lecture for this show where you get drunk basically and just talk about stuff. And the idea of MTV 2000s era reality TV was like what I wanted to research. So now I have all this knowledge and uh I need to force it on someone else, I guess. So that's what I'm here to do.
Ren, did you have access to cable growing up or like satellite TV?
I had cable growing up, yeah. I was so I have an older sister who she's 12 years older than I am, and I would just do everything she did as a little kid. So she would watch like Laguna Beach, she would watch Next, she would watch Room Raiders, and then I would be like a little like toddler being like, yeah, all right, yeah, Next, yeah. And my ultimate goal as a little kid, like I have this memory of like being on the phone, like the cord phone, with one of my friends, and being like, "Yeah, when I grow up, I want to go on the Room, or sorry, not the Room, the Real World." And that was
the
like
Real World.
I wanted to be on the Real World so bad. Oh my god, and I never did. But
Love
it's
the Real
okay.
World.
That
I
was
actually
Love
auditioned
Island.
for the Real World.
Really? That's
yeah,
so
when
cool.
I turned 21, I auditioned. I never got in, never heard anything from them, but that was like one of my goals from watching all this reality TV on MTV. I loved the Real World. I fantasized about, I guess this is really weird, but I was like, I want to be on that show and like arguing with everyone and, you know, having like all this drama. It just seemed
Exactly.
so.
It just seemed like such a. I wanted to have a pink bikini and I wanted to be on the Real World. Those are my two goals.
Same.
And yeah. That sort of genre, that era of TV is like so it is seminal to me. It is so important. It is a huge like cornerstone of who I am, and it's so like exploitative and terrible and just bizarre, but like there's nothing like it. There's nothing like
Yeah,
it.
but there's nostalgia there too, because I don't like as I'm watching. I've kind of just been watching like older shows and reminding myself of what was going on, and I'm like, none of this could be made, and this wouldn't be pitched today. Like none of this would even get in the room. So it's interesting. Like
laws.
yeah,
right. Some of this is not legal anymore. Maybe either. Like it's just nuts. Yeah, I and it's so shocking almost that like how culture kind of has this way of like swinging, I guess, in the other direction, because it seems like stuff was on like the content of those shows was so shocking to me. I'm like, I wouldn't see this on cable television right now.
yeah.
But it was like back in the day, it was like nobody batted an eye. I was watching like a young teen, like a tween, watching like the episode of Next where they're like talking about like hooking up on the bus and like I mean honestly though too, there was a lot of like, not a lot, but enough gay representation that I was sort of, that was another aspect that was so fascinating to me, because back then there was not really a lot of like queer I guess like, you know, storylines or actors, or at least out actors. That was really non-existent. Like I got all of that from like the weird episode, like random episodes of MTV Next, or like I watched Queer as Folk when it was like really late at night, and I like could like keep it on really low so my dad couldn't hear from my room, and like, you know, and now there we have so much representation, which is great, but it's easy to forget that like, yeah, that was not a thing. But you could also show like moms dating like their sons and shit, like the Date My
Yeah,
Mom was an MTV
Milk
show, which was
Manor.
Milk Manor. It's so
Yeah.
nuts to me. Yeah.
I remember that, like just like nibbling on little crumbs of like gayness, or like being a 13-year-old and like SNL like brought up something being gay or something like that, and being like, gay.
Yeah.
That's bad, apparently.
I always cherish those moments. I mean, I think it's like you kind of, at least for me, I kind of knew I was queer, but I don't know. I also kind of fought against it. But anytime, yeah, you see that even just something, a glimpse of yourself or what you think is yourself, that was what like all of my memories are of those moments. And somehow MTV plays into that. So.
So I sent out, and I don't know if you had the chance to watch, I found a few of the gay episodes of MTV past. But was there like a favorite MTV show of yours, like reality show?
Yeah, I'll be honest.
Go ahead.
Me? Okay.
Yes,
so we were talking about The Real World, and that really was kind of like my introduction to all of this. And then from The Real World, I loved the Osbournes. I was obsessed with the Osbournes back in the day. I don't really know why. I think I just loved how like, you know, like what's the word? Just kind of like explicit and graphic. Everything what they all of their conversations are so like ridiculous, and they're constantly swearing at each other. And as a kid, I like hated my parents, so I kind of fantasized about like talking to my parents the way that Jack Osbourne talked to his parents. Loved the Osbournes. Also, the Ashley Simpson show. Did you ever watch the Ashley Simpson show?
No, I don't
Loved
think so.
It. Oh my god! So Ashley Simpson is Jessica Simpson's younger sister, and she kind of, I don't even know how it happened. Very like, I think her dad was her manager, and Jessica had that Newlywed show with Nick Lachey, which kind of took off, which I didn't really watch a lot of personally, but I was always so interested in her younger sister. She's kind of like the emo, right when emo was coming into the zeitgeist. She was very emo. She like had black hair. I think she like dyed her own hair on the show. It was
so
like
funny.
So and you don't know, you never know how much it's staged or what, but like as like coming into my teen years, I thought she was just like the coolest pop star in the world. So I love that show. And then watched like Ashley Simpson has like the saddest trajectory in Hollywood. This is kind of an aside, but she had like that thing on SNL where she like something happened and like the song started playing, and then she like did a hoedown, and no one ever heard from her again. But Ashley Simpson was another show I watched.
I'm trying to think. There was one. Gosh, I was just thinking about earlier today when I was like things I want to talk about. But it's the one where it's like they find teenagers, and the teenagers like, I want to be like a rock star or something like that. So they get like a rock star to come and teach them how to be that maid.
Yeah.
Yes. That was another show I really wanted to be on, but like my main goal was to get on The Real World. And in college, I started watching all the Real World seasons from the first season on, and the first season is just so emotional. It is so good. And even like now with like one of the cast members had AIDS, and it showed like his journey and like what happened. And then two of the other cast members randomly made this TV show on Cartoon Network called Juniper Lee, The Life and Times of Juniper Lee. And that came out of, the real world. And so I'm finding all these like just like watching that first season, it was really like it's like a cornerstone of like my queer identity is the real world.
So fun
love.
fact, Karamo from Queer Eye he was on the Real World back in the
Really?
day. Yeah. Is that his name, Karamo? Yeah, Karamo. Yeah, he
Yes.
was on, I think, Philadelphia. Yeah. He was, and I
Oh,
remember
okay.
watching him on that season, and like then when he's on Queer Eye years later, I made that connection somehow, and I'm like, that is so crazy. There's also, I don't remember her name, but one of the contestants went on to be like, I mean, a semi like notable actress. She was in like a few movies. I can't remember her
Oh.
name, so I don't know that speaks well for her. But she definitely had some success. So that's
Mhm.
interesting.
Oh, you know another one. This just popped in my head, but I don't think it was on MTV. But my sister and I were avid Bad Girls Club
Oh
consumers.
yes.
Yes.
I had a
I that was another show I wanted to go on. And then
Yeah.
years later, even though I'm like I'm not that bad. Like I don't have it in me to be like a bad girl. I wish I had it, but I don't have that it factor. Um I'm too nice. But a girl from my high school went on Bad Girls Club, and I
What?
she talked about my crazy high school, and I was like, "Oh my god, she did it. She achieved my dreams. She went on Bad Girls."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Damn. Good for
Was
her.
she that bad?
honestly, she was bad. Yeah, it was crazy. Like she was a couple years ahead of me in high school, and I went to a boarding school for troubled girls, and now it's like a fancy boarding school for like regular people. But um, when I went there, we were all like, we were fighting or something like that, or we were mad at our parents. And so she like kept running away, and they kept bringing her back, and she like grew pot at school or something like that. And I was like,
Oh, she sounds
that's
like fun.
honestly, yeah. At the time I was scared of her cuz I was like 13, but
Right.
now I'm like, oh, I wish I talked to her. She probably was very fun. She probably was very
Yeah.
interesting.
Hardcore.
Can't believe you have such a close proximity. I don't know what the real world's about. I didn't have
Really?
cable, I didn't have like satellite or anything. So my only experiences of MTV were like going over to like my cousins during the summers, and like I'd be like staying with my grandparents for a long time, and then my cousin was like right down the road. And so I'd like walk over, and then our family was pretty like intense about the content we were allowed to like consume collectively. Like there wasn't a lot of like SNL was spicy for
Oh.
my
Mm.
family. So like watching MTV like with her was just like, this is a whole other world. I'm so scared right now. This I feel nothing but fear at all these people being so mean and so loud. And that is one thing. As I was watching like some old episodes back, I was like, people were really encouraged to be mean. There was no fear of getting dragged on social media. Like
Yeah.
they were like no fear of like MySpace even. They were just like some of the like parrots during the like parental control episodes I was watching. I was like, when they were like digging into like some of these kids like who's like were sitting there and their partners were like going on the dates or whatever, I was just like, that's a child. Like you're like
Yeah.
calling
It's
like
crazy.
children sluts. Like that's
Yeah.
like grown 40-year-old adults like encouraged to call like 18-year-olds like sluts and hoes and
Tramps,
like
and yeah, like you're
yeah.
just a
Yeah.
tramp. I know, it's crazy. And you bring up a really good point, because I think I was like ruminating on it. I'm like, what has changed? Why was this acceptable in like 2003, but now in 2023 like it's unthinkable? And I think social media is a big part of it. I think now people have this like, online persona they have to tend to, and that's its own curated thing. And so people can't be just as like, willy-nilly saying whatever they want and
Mhm.
talking the way that they were in those days, because there's kind of like repercussions for that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm like, because like you said, I was watching it, and like the things that they're saying to each other, and like in their little confessionals, like when they're talking to the camera, it's like you guys are saying the craziest shit. Like this is intense.
And like Van is right, it was much louder back then. People were always
Totally.
yelling, especially on Next. I remember being a kid and being like, why the hell are they yelling? Why are they talking so loud when they say they're like, I'm Ryan and I'm the only guy she'll be lying or something like that. And they're saying these rhymes and they're so loud. I don't like how loud they were.
Yeah, none of them have stage training at all. They're all just like really intense individuals.
Yes, yeah.
I do want to know the casting process for some of those next episodes, or like all that, like were they just, some of them you can tell like the producers were trying to find the wildest people they could off the street. Like,
So I actually know someone that lives in Boise that's like a part of the performance community that was on Next, and their
Oh,
episode is still like you can see it. I don't think that they want me to say their name, so I'm like, I don't want to like put them on blast like that. But she said she was like just like working in LA and looking for whatever at the time, and it was just like an open casting call, just like to see like
wow.
for do you want to be a part of some wacky reality show? And like she basically didn't really know what it was when she auditioned for it and got it. And she was like, they kind of tell you what to say. They kind of like make you redo stuff if you like mess up your words. It's definitely like, and it kind of is obvious if you watch it that they're kind of produced to an extent. But it
Mhm.
was fascinating to get her take on it. And then watching her episode, I'm like, this is not the same person. It's wild. It's so crazy.
Oh,
I would
I'm
want to
trying to.
be the
Oh, go ahead.
date coordinator, the or the person who scouted locations for all their weird dates. I was
Oh,
really fascinated by the one that was having the goats eat off of them, that weird
Oh.
experience. It's just put on these suits and we'll pour grain on you and then the goats will eat off of you. And I was like, that's such a
What?
weird
yeah. Like, how did that come to be? Was that the producer's
I,
idea, or did that already exist?
I think that they wanted to make these people as uncomfortable as possible. I'm just assuming that it was like a setup to make them either like snap on each other or just like in general, cause good TV, I guess. But it is really interesting. Even the dates, I feel like, are dated. Like the things that they go to do on these dates. It all is like it just feels like such a different time to me, and that's what fascinates me still about it.
Yeah, exactly. It's so crazy. It's like such a time capsule. Like even with like shows like do you remember when the Bling Ring whole controversy happened?
Very
Yeah,
much.
and there was a reality TV show based on the lives of one of the perpetrators of the
What
Bling
is the
Ring.
name? Oh my gosh, I can't
It's
what
like
remember
is
the name of
this?
Alexis
it.
something. I'm
What is the
forgetting.
Yeah,
bling
Alexis
ring?
Nyers. Alexis Nyers is
Yes,
her
yes,
name, I'm
yes,
pretty
yes.
sure.
And she's like, in my little BB pumps. I think about that all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, she's
What
like, the
is
press
this?
reported that I was wearing like Louis Vuitton heels, and they weren't. They were little BB slipper sandals or
Like
some
brown
bullshit. Yeah,
pumps. Yeah.
she's great. She's great TV. Yeah, I love
Oh,
her. Yeah, there was. I
man.
think their show was on E, and I can't remember the
Oh,
name
yeah.
of it, but it was like their mom was like, every morning I wake up and give my kids Adderall and send them to like soccer practice, and she has like all their lives completely regimented. And little does she know that like her daughter is like going to all these
Really.
houses in the Hollywood Hills and completely just like stealing. So she like went to Paris Hilton's house and stole a bunch of her stuff, and they like filmed themselves doing it. This was before like social media really, so they were just, it was like on their like camera phones and stuff. But there was a bunch of celebrities that I think Rachel Bilson, she's an actress
Yeah.
from like the OC, maybe. Yeah, they went to her house. It was all these different celebrities' houses, and then they finally got caught. And then she got like a reality show out of it, which is
Yes.
amazing. It's very like that time.
It's truly like that would not happen today at all. And even
No,
that show, I think it was called Pretty Wild. It gets
I
referenced
think you're
still to
right.
this day. Yeah, like have you ever seen that clip where it's like they ask you how you're doing, you just have to say you're fine, and it's like set to like violins or something? I have to send it to you.
Yeah.
It's very funny. It's a clip from that show where it's right before the little BB pumps, and she's like talking about how people are like, oh, like how is this, court case going for you? And she's like, you have to say that you're fine, but you're not fine.
This
It's
might go
so
back to
dramatic.
why we love George Santos so much, is he is
Yeah.
living in an MTV like reality show and no one else is.
I listened to the podcast that you did on George, or when you were talking about George Santos, just to like get the feel of this. And I think that is another person who is just like a train wreck. You can't look away. As I watched the Z-Way interview, I loved it. I
Yes,
love
yes.
that the whole time she is obviously like trying to show the world what a like piece of shit this guy is. Basically, I love the part when she kept saying icon
Yes.
or whatever, trying to
It was
get him
so
to call
funny.
himself an icon. Yeah, I love it, but it is crazy because he's right. Like we're all watching this and we can't stop, and he's like becoming this figure in pop culture based on the fact that he's like a terrible person and does terrible things. But that is kind of what like MTV reality television was like. So it's like everything kind of circles back. It's really interesting.
Yeah, it's so cyclical. Like I was
It is.
watching these YouTubers they're called Fundy Fridays, and they basically talk about fundamental Christianity and Republican politics, but from like a leftist point of view. I really like them.
Hmm.
I highly recommend them. But they were talking about George Santos, and he has like really fallen off. Like people are no longer paying attention to them because our attention spans are 3 seconds long. He's no longer relevant. It's over for him. He has a cameo, but that's like about it. And I'm like, that's so interesting. Like just a couple weeks ago, it was like George Santos, George Santos, George Santos, and now like who's talking about him? He doesn't matter anymore.
Dang.
It's crazy.
Okay. Well, I do have one last very important question for you. If you were on Room Raiders and there was a hot person coming to raid your room, what do you think would be the biggest red flag item that they would discover? Which I always think is funny, is not the things that I would like, that I would necessarily think would be a red flag. Every time they like do one of these room things, one of them was just like someone made a diorama for their art class or something, and the guy was like, that's a dollhouse. I don't want to go out with someone who has a dollhouse.
That's so funny.
Oh God. I have to think. I really have to give this some thought because there's probably some really weird shit. If they were to raid like my whole house, like not my bedroom might be kind of boring to be honest, but like my drag room, there is everything that you could think of. I feel like they would have such a skewed idea of who I was if they like looked in that room and tried to get clues from it. Because I mean, like anything you can think of, like there's a plunger, there's like a bedazzled plunger that I use for a prop. There's like, oh my God, there's like BDSM equipment, like whips and shit, like all that kind of stuff. That's just props. There's like, oh no. So many things. I mean, honestly, anything you can imagine. I think that they would probably have to cut a lot of it out because it's all just weird, insane, and usually sex related. I'm assuming, typically.
I have to think. I think like for me, I'm a little crystal girly. I love my healing crystals. I love my tarot cards. So I think like it would be the crystals. I think they would think I was weird for the amount of crystals I have. I have too many.
I'm trying to think. Besides the like walls and walls of comics that are slowly like growing around me, and the bookshelves that keep stacking, I'm trying to think of what else here that I would be discovered. I think they would like dig through like my closet or something, and they'd find like a cowboy hat and like my cowboy boots or something, and suddenly be like, I don't want to date a country bumpkin. Like, it's always the most benign stuff like that, where it's like,
That's tea. It's just like whatever. I feel like it could be like a pair of underwear that they don't like the color of it. And they're like, oh, this color, pink underwear? Yeah, right. It's so weird what like set people off in that show.
It's true.
Or,
but then you see weird rooms like have you ever seen the Superman episode where this guy has like nothing but Superman paraphernalia?
No.
Yeah. There's some weird
that I
rooms
need
in
to
Raiders.
watch.
Would that be a red? Here's a question: would that be a red flag for you or no? Would that be something that
huge
you'd be
red
like okay
flag.
with?
Huge
Yeah.
red flag.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like all nerds need to have the good taste to have like their anime room or their like gamer room, and it's like separated out like to an acceptable level. Like,
Yeah.
Separation of church and state. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's hard when you have a race car bed like in your bedroom or something, or like I've never encountered that, but
That's
Me
it.
either. That I think that would definitely be a red flag too, for sure. A race car bed. Yeah.
I've
or it's
seen
like
like on
you're
Wayfair they have like
fun.
adult race car beds, like
They have
queen size.
adult one?
Yeah, they do. They do.
Oh my god. Red flag.
That's your definite like no, like that
Yeah.
person is gone.
There's levels of dysfunction to that, I think. Yeah.
Let's see. So that pretty much concludes all we had on our little wonderful podcast script for you. Cookie Puss, thank you so much. You're such a delight. You're such an incredible performer. I love every time we get to go out and watch you. I've been like hermiting lately, so I need to get out and about here a little bit soon. But do you have anything that you'd like to promote on the podcast?
Oh my gosh, yes, I love promoting myself. Thank you for having me. I just want to say I really love your guys' podcast. Like I said, I listen to it. I love podcasts in general. So this is a huge moment for me to be on one. Really big moment for me. Gonna, tell everyone about it and brag about it. So thank you. As far as promoting in general, I would say in Idaho, drag is kind of continuously under attack. So if you see this and you enjoy drag in any capacity locally in the Boise area, come out to our shows. We, typically they're low price, like $5-10 max. It all goes to the local performers, and we love seeing people out. You can follow me on Instagram if you'd like. It's cookie.puss with 3 S's. And got a lot coming up in the next couple weeks. Honestly, we got brunch every second Sunday at the balcony. I'm a working lady, so pretty much every weekend you can find me somewhere at some random bar doing random brunch, right? Isn't that what you said? Random brunch venues? That's me. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
Thank you for coming on.
Yes, anytime.
I will also just say, like, if you are in a like small rural community and you have like, or if you're in a smaller city, I've been to a bunch of drag shows all over the country and stuff, and I always love like small local drag because everybody's living for the weekend, and the shows they put on, like, versus, I don't know, some of the queens who are like performing all throughout the week, like the the local performers, like, this is their like moment to shine, like one time a week or like that kind of thing. And it's always just, it's beautiful. It brings joy. It's the best. So
I have so much fun doing it. And yeah, drag has become something that is more of a full-time thing for me now. Somehow in Boise, I'm pretty much just hustling everywhere I can go. So I love it so much. I wouldn't do it if I didn't love it. And gonna keep doing it.
yeah. All right. Well, oh, I think I accidentally stole your bit, Wren. It says that
no
in the
worries.
script. But I'll just launch in here. Thank you for listening to Your Trash Pals. You can follow the podcast on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Our live Twitch and YouTube streams are hosted on Monday. Are we on YouTube? I can't remember if we're on YouTube
We
yet.
are on YouTube.
Yay!
Yeah, we're on there.
And our recorded episodes go up on Thursdays, unless we get hit with COVID or life circumstances or snowstorms or all those things. But we try to get these wonderful episodes out to you.
And you can follow me at Wren.psd and Van Notes on Instagram at Van Notes Books. I want to put a period in there, but there's no period.
vannotes.com. You can also go there. We're trying to figure out how to include you all more. So you can write into the podcast at yourtrashpals@gmail.com. Tell us about your favorite pieces of trash. You can say whether you think my little games are fun or not. You can suggest little games. You can ask us questions, some trashy questions. We would love to answer those. And we also, if you like us, review us, all those things on all the platforms, it helps our search engine optimization, which isn't that the most important thing in 2024? Good grief. But finally, I'll sign off with our ad. We are brought to you by special sponsors, special, very real sponsors every week. And this episode is brought to you by RuPaul's Fracking Ranch. Do you like the destruction of the environment with a little bit of a fabulous twist? Then come on down to RuPaul's Fracking Ranch, where you can purchase the Vaseline made from the oil that we put all over on those cameras. So make sure you watch a RuPaul's Drag Race and you support your local fracking ranches. That's one of my worst ones yet.
For a second, the ticker said RuPaul's fucking ranch, but remember, it's RuPaul's fracking ranch.
Oh, and remember to reduce,
reuse,
recycle.
Yay!